Hi, I'm Colleen Sullivan of the Jorgensen Leadership Center. Have you ever noticed something in someone else's behavior that led you to jump to a conclusion that perhaps may or may not have been right? Well, Chris Argyris, he's an organizational psychologist out of Harvard, came up with this metaphorical tool to help us think about our thinking and to get us back down our ladder so we can really begin to look at reality and facts. So let's take a look. I'm going to put it in a context of a meeting. At the bottom of our ladder, we have lots of different data points, and that's the observable data you see. Almost just like a movie camera. What is it currently picking up? Well, let's put it in a meeting context. You could have just recently held a meeting with maybe 10 different people in the room. So there's lots and lots of different data that's going on simultaneously. Well, the pieces that come through your screen becomes your data. And your screen is made up of your attitudes, beliefs, biases, and assumptions. It truly is a way that we kind of narrow in. There's so many data points coming through that we can only select a few for us to actually consider. So let's say you're holding a meeting. Once again, with 10 different people in the room. Somebody's taking notes, somebody's looking around, but you focus in on this particular woman who's actually looking at her BlackBerry and checking her watch. So you start to think, right? That's the person you looked at. Right here, that's the data that you selected, those pieces that you've locked on, and you start to perceive, wow, I notice that Sally seems to be rather distracted and fidgety today. That's an assumption. So now I make another assumption and I begin to interpret what I'm seeing. Wow, well, I think I've seen this before, and actually Sally must be doing this for a reason. Before she went to a meeting and she was withholding information, I wonder if that's happening again. And I'm already jumping back up. I've got one assumption based on another. So now I'm concluding, you know what? I've seen it before, and I think that's right. When she exhibited the same behavior throughout the entire meeting, fidgeting and looking at her watch, I know she was withholding information. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go talk with Sally after the meeting and find out why is it that she's not contributing to the conversation. There you go. I've walked straight up my ladder based on one thing, couple of things that I noticed and saw in the meeting. Sally was fidgeting. She was looking at her watch. I started to go up my ladder and start to build upon my assumptions, interpret the information, conclude, and then act. Well, what should we do when we begin to build on assumptions and come to a conclusion? Chris Argyris suggests two things. The first thing is test your assumptions. Don't just act upon them. Test them, right? How did I come to this conclusion? Do I have other pieces of data that help support this information, right? The second thing you want to do is you want to surface possible alternative data or contrary data, right? Why else could Sally possibly be looking at her BlackBerry? Maybe she has another project that's due. Perhaps maybe she's waiting because her husband is in surgery. We don't know. But if I just act upon my assumptions without actually taking a step back and checking the facts, the data that I have selected will support those assumptions. Be careful, right? When you do find yourself going up your ladder, inquiry is our friend. To get ourselves down the ladder, we want to begin to ask some questions. And the first one truly does begin with testing that particular assumption. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to learn more, please go to our website at gojlc.com.